What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live edition. Please excuse my lights fluttering. I don't know why the camera is doing that, but let's get right into it. This is titled "Should You Carry a Gun or a Firearm in Portland, Oregon?" And this is debatable. You got people on both sides of the political argument. You got people who, are not for guns. You got people who are pro gun. I guess I can say most of the people in the city have liberal views. Um, but I think right now there's a point where um, people are starting to uh, get away from the stat quo. I guess you could say that. So I'll give you an example of this. I had a student, won't say his or her name, but I had a student that came from my business is in Vancouver, but I serve the Portland metro area and Vancouver, and Vancouver is literally a stone's throw away from where I'm at. But I had a student that came over from Portland, and they were pretty, they ended up purchasing a firearm, and they wanted a firearm because, things are getting bad in their neighborhood, and they were distraught because there were people in their family and some of their friends that were, really talking down to them or trying to not convince them about uh, actually having a firearm, and this caused some problems for them as far as you know w- w- feeling safe at the end of the day. And that's pretty sad. But anyways, it seems to be that there are some people who are getting away from the stat quo when it comes to how people feel about guns in this liberal city. Right now, should you carry a firearm? If you can, the answer is yes. You should carry a firearm. But here's the thing: things are so tricky in things are really tricky in Portland, and um, what the majority of the population who may purchase guns out of fear or panic or something like that. They are just not well trained, right? Now, of course, you have to get training. So I'm going to say yes. However, I'm also going to say make sure that you got proper training. And when I say proper training, I'm talking about you are preparing yourself for the worst case scenario. I'm not talking about going to buy a gun and then going to the range, shooting off a few shots, and you thinking that's all you got. Times have always been different, depending on what area you in. But now the times are way different, right? And if you're gonna get a gun and you're in Portland, Oregon, you need to get some real training, right? There are some options out there, but back to the city, right? I mean, I don't think there are people that are outside of the city that may have an idea because of what the media say or what they heard. But the truth is, man, this place is like a third world country. Some like you go in certain places of this city, it's like, how did this happen? How did this end up getting here like this, right? Now, let me tell you something about Portland. You know how you go in certain cities and certain cities say, it'll say, certain cities, where you go in and people will be like, don't go to the north side or don't go to this part of the city because it's really bad. In Portland, it really doesn't matter what part of the city you're in, you can almost be bound to find something really bad. I mean, almost really bad. Northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. It's all over the place. A lot of times, what's really happening is, you know, drugs are increasing. The kinds of drugs are increasing, and the criminality is increasing. The mental health is increasing. So it's like, where do you go, right? Now, if we talk about policy, the decriminalization of certain amounts of drugs does play into that. Whether being a parole and probation officer in Portland, I know all about it, right? And decriminalizing the small amount of drugs have caused this place to go into pure chaos just within 1 year. It's been bad, but now it's like a level that you can't even think about this. I got video to prove it. Think about, how people go out and they would just smoke cigarettes like for leisure and stuff like that, like, outside on their work break or in a park or something, and people smoking cigarettes. Imagine Just imagine that you were in a place, a public place. You walk, let's say you were in a restaurant and you walked outside of a restaurant and you walk into your car. And as you walk into your car, you see three, four, five people smoking fentanyl from foil. Imagine this now. This is true. You can go pretty much most places in Portland and find this, especially downtown, especially in Southeast, right? So just imagine leaving or walking through public and seeing these people casually smoking fentanyl, right? I mean, I've seen everything. People shooting up, shooting up the heroin in their arms on the sidewalk, smoking crack, smoking meth. Now, fentanyl is like the new crack, bro. Like, fentanyl is the new crack. I mean, you can buy this shit so cheap for $1, $2, $3, whatever, and you can get super high from this stuff. So the crime, not to mention, the crime is being perpetuated by the drug use. These people are out there, I would say suffering or going through this whole drug addiction thing, but then they're committing crimes to try to get the drugs, whether that be robbing, whether that be breaking into homes, whether that be stealing cars, no matter what. There's so many people becoming victims in this city. I don't think people really understand or realize it. Like, I don't really think people that are outside the city understand it. It's so bad now that the liberals of this city are crying out, right? When 4 or 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, they were the people who were like, yeah, love is love. Let everybody go outside and sleep wherever they want. But now you go in some neighborhoods and some parts of the city and you have homes, y'all. Listen, you got homes, $500,000 homes, and in front of their homes, they have Tent City in front of it. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. This is a real thing. So now you got people that are in their neighborhoods being terrorized by the drugs, the drug dealing, the shootings, the violence every single day. And this is in their neighborhood. They bought a house to live there. Think about that, y'all. These people can come. I think one of the what's the name? Commissioner what is it, Gonzalez? I think he just had a rule or ordinance or whatever that stops the people from actually pitching tents and all that stuff, unless it's in an approved area, something like that. But listen to me. I want you to imagine this. Now I'm being serious. I'm trying to get y'all to be super reflective. Imagine you walked out your house and you saw Tent City, people that had 3, 4, 5, 6 tents. There's garbage everywhere. It smells like shit. There's shit everywhere, even in your yard, down your driveway, down your sidewalk. There's needles everywhere. Imagine that. I can't even imagine it, but it's a real life here in Portland. I had an incident that happened where someone actually took a shit. I kid you not. Someone actually took a shit on my truck. I got a Toyota Tundra. The first summer I was here, after I moved here, I was working as a parole and probation officer, and I commute on public transportation to my ride along. And as I remember it was like 96 degrees that day, one of the hottest days in Portland. And I start to walk up to my truck. And as I walk up, I see this kind of like toilet paper with brown stuff on it, but it was kind of leading up, like a little trail. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But when I got to my truck, imagine this is a true story. I got pictures to prove it and video. Someone, I'm not even going to answer the comments yet because I'm going to get off track. But someone, absolutely, that's what it is. But if you can imagine, on my hood and my right fender was human shit. And it was coming down into into the rims of my truck on the front. And it was horrible, man. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this place? But anyways, that's when it was actually good. That was good times in Portland. Now it's different, y'all. So if you look at people that start businesses, people are getting robbed, people getting guns pulled on them. The mental health is out of control. People are getting randomly assaulted at almost record paces every day. You got the city employees. Check this out. The city employees of Portland do not want to come back to work because they've been out for a while. So they've been doing a lot of teleworking at home because when COVID happened, right? But they're saying they don't even want to come back to work because of the crime element, the criminal element that's in their city. Can you believe that? They don't even want to come back to work. They don't even want to come back in the city, right? So should you carry a gun in Portland, Oregon? The answer to me, for me, is very easy. It is yes. But you got to have the proper training. You got to make sure you are preparing yourself for some crazy ass situations, right? I'm going to tell you this story before I get off. 2 weeks ago, was it last week? 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure that someone was casing me to rob me as I was on my morning commute to head downtown for my parole officer job, right? And I'm on the train. Had been on the train for about 20 minutes. We stop. This guy gets on, this black guy gets on, and he sits like maybe, I don't know, like maybe about 3 or 4 seats down from me, but he's on my side. So I can look to my left and I can see him sitting there, right? He kept his hand in his pocket. Now, I am very situationally aware. So I noticed him, cool, whatever. But what I noticed, I can feel him looking at me out of my left side peripheral here, right? So I can see him, I can feel him looking at me. So with my situational awareness, what do? I try to get an advantage. And guess what my advantage was? Pro tip. I decided to use the window on the other side of the train to get a visual of him, which was extremely clear, right? I can see him. I'm looking like I'm looking out the window, but I'm clearly looking at him. Whether or not he knew that or not, I don't know. So anyways, he's looking at me. So to make sure that he knew that I was going to notice him, I looked over and I looked at him and I nodded, right? We still going on the train. He's still staring at me. So I look over again. Now at this time, he starts to kind of pat his feet. He starts to kind of pat his feet, pat, 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 like he's getting nervous, it looks like, right? So he's constantly looking at me. He never looks away when I look at him, right? So I'm like, all right, what's up with this dude? So for me, I always never have anything in my hands, right? I'm always like my hands are always free when I'm on a train. Now, note, I am carrying I'm carrying appendix and I got my pepper spray in my pocket, right? So with that being said, let's get to the end of the story so I can tell you how I think he was trying to rob me or at least do something, follow me or whatever. So what I did, my next tactic was, okay, I am going to pretend like I'm going to get off at the next stop. Now notice, there's a lot, there's exits. There's there's on the cart is like 2 or 3 exits that you can get out of, right? So I get my stuff, I get my backpack on, and I act like I'm going to this is not my stop, right? But I know something is up with this dude. So what I do is I get up like I was going to get off the train. I go and I walk to an exit. And when I get up, guess what he does? He gets up, right? So I noticed this. So he think he's slick. He decides to go over to the next exit. So I'm looking over to my right now. I'm sorry, to my right now at him at the next exit, right? So when the doors open up, he runs out, like he just walks out, and I stay in, right? Here's how trippy it was. As he gets out of the train, I watch him. He looks directly at me and his face is like, oh shit, like he's not walking away or he's not getting off the train. So in a nervous kind of like manic panic for this guy, he starts to come to the exit door that I'm at. The train doors haven't closed yet. So he goes to step onto the train, like he was going to step onto the train. And then he realized, shit, this guy gonna get, he's thinking this guy is going to notice that I'm on to him or something. So he steps onto the train and then he steps off. But then what he does is he realized that I'm not getting off the train. So he runs to the next cart and gets on that train, right? Now, here's how crazy it is. Between my cart and his cart, there's a big window there. So you can pretty much see all the way down in the cart. So I'm watching the guy the entire time, right? The entire time I'm watching this guy. So I happen to get to my stop. I get off. He gets off, right? So he's lagging behind, lagging behind. He's practically following me at that point. He's lagging behind, lagging behind. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, my situation awareness tells me that this guy is on my ass right now, right? I'm not thinking, oh my God, this is getting bad. I'm just thinking, okay, what can I do, right? So, of course, what I do to make sure I have a peripheral of him, I step offline so I can see where he is, right? So here's what's my tactic. I kept walking, kept walking. He would just lay behind, probably about, I don't know, 30 feet or so, 35 feet or so. And then what I decided to do was we were at a crosswalk and the light was red. So when we got there, I knew I was going to end up crossing. So I turned around and I faced him, like head on. I faced him. I was like, "Hey, bro, what's up? You need something?" And I needed to acknowledge him. I needed him to know that I knew he was there. I was like, "Hey, bro, you need something? Like, what's going on?" And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Do you need anything? Like, I noticed you were on a train with me. You try to get off, and then you realize it wasn't my stop. Like, can I help you with something?" And he was like, "Oh no, man, I'm cool. I'm cool." Right. And then once the thing turned green, I turned around. I mean, I went across the street and my building was on the next block. Like it was on that block that I was crossing into. Right. So once he seen me go in to my building, he literally turned around and walked around the corner in the block. Now, you can call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure that dude was casing me. I'm pretty sure he was on me for something, and I don't know why. But I was ready mentally and I was ready physically. Portland, Oregon is trash. It is a place where I call it Gotham City at this point, y'all. I really do. I call Portland Gotham City because the stuff that you will see. I mean, of course, I've seen people casually doing drugs, casually selling drugs. I've seen people having sex in public. I've seen people getting harassed in public, beaten in public, chased with knives in public. I've seen someone being sexually harassed in public, actually sexually assaulted in public, right? So is Portland safe? Hell no. Portland is not safe. It's a different city than any other place I've ever been in my life. And I would say if you can carry a firearm and carry a less than lethal tool, carry pepper spray, carry a pocket knife, if you can carry a baton, right? You should be suited and booted just like a security guard when you go into Portland. But I know that that's not everyone's capability. I know that that's not everybody's life. That's not everybody's lifestyle. But at the end of the day, man, you should probably carry a firearm in Portland. I mean, literally, the carjackings, the car theft, right? All this stuff comes up, man. And I mean, I just hate to say it that this place is going to get much worse before it gets better. Anybody got any questions before I get off of here? I just wanted to share some perspective about Portland. I'm going to be posting some videos, and I'm going to also be posting um, some pictures and other episodes of me talking about specific things that are happening in Portland. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. I think I'm going to go. I got to be downtown tomorrow, so I think I'm going to get much more video and content for y'all tomorrow. Tell me what you think in the comments. This is the new channel, so please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want more content like this, and y'all have a good night. Peace.